Hello guys, and welcome to JAMB Chemistry class. And in this class, we're going to be looking at the particulate nature of matter. Particulate nature of matter. This will be the first part of this topic. The second part will be in the next class. So please do not forget to also watch it on this channel. All right. We know that matter is made up of discrete particles, of which some of these particles are atoms, molecules, and ions. Please do not forget that this video tutorial is brought to you by O3Schools JAMB app, O3Schools JAMB application. This is the best CBT practice app or software available there. So go to Play Store, download it. I can tell you with my full chest that if you practice with this app, a score of 280 plus is possible for you, even without reading. But of course, this is why we do these videos, to also aid your learning, so that as you read and then you practice with the app, success is sure. Why should you pick this JAMB app over any other app available? It has all the past questions in one, all subjects. That is one. And then number two, it has wonderful features such as the mock feature, the exam mode feature, the practice feature, where you can study alone. The app is very flexible. You can set it the way you want to set it. If you want to answer questions by year, you can answer questions by year. If you want to choose the random mode so that they throw question to you from any part, from any topic, you can use it. It also has the question search feature, which enables you to search for questions according to topic. So, for example, you can just go to this question search feature and search for matter. All the questions that come out under matter will want to be shown to you, and then you can answer them and gain more confidence about the particular topic. So these are just few of the reasons why you should get this app. Many other reasons are abundant. Users of this app last year gave a lot of testimonies, and yours will not be different. So please get the app, go to Play Store, download it. Activation of this app is not just free, it is 2,500 naira. Once you make the payment of this 2,500 naira to the account number on the app, then you will be sure to get your activation key, and you'll be able to practice. So the free mode allows you to answer just 5 questions. After answering 5 questions, you'll be told to activate. So do not hesitate to activate. Do not be selfish to yourself, because a lot of you prefer to write JAMB 4 times than to activate this app for 2,500 naira, right? So in case you are scared that, oh, will this not be scam? No, it is not scam. It is not be scam. Somebody cannot. I cannot build such an app with so much features to help students, and I used to be scamming. Even if I want to scam, it is not actually 2,500 naira somebody want to scam you with. So please endeavor to activate. And in case you have trust issues, I will drop our support number here, 09121515246. Once you download this app and you click activate, then the next thing you should do, at the top, you see where they wrote buy activation key. Go to that buy activation key. You see 3 options for payments. There's a Google Pay. You can pay with Google. If you have made any purchase from Google before, you can pay with Google. Then 2, you can pay with Paystack using your debit card. So that one, your app is activated automatically. You don't need to contact anybody. But the third option is transfer option. Once you make transfer, you can fill your depositor name and send us a message, or you can send your receipt. I said receipt, your receipt of payment to this number on WhatsApp. And once you do, you will be attended to. Sometimes there may be delays because I may be shooting this video now and not be able to attend to you immediately. So if you pay, do not be scared. Do not be scared at all that it's getting to 30 minutes and I've not been activated. No. Just be patient. Send your receipts. You will be attended to. You'll be attended to. At least, at most, an hour you'll be attended to. So please take good advantage of this app, study, and you see yourself at the top. So let's go back to what we are discussing. We said that matter is made up of discrete particles, of which some of them are atoms, like we said, then molecules, as I said again, and ions. Now, and then we talked about atoms. Let's talk about atoms first. What is an atom? An atom is the smallest particle of an element that can take part in a reaction, or that can exist and still retain the chemical property of that element. So let's write it out so that it will be clear. An atom is the smallest particle of an element that can take part in a chemical reaction, or that can exist and still retain the chemical property of the element. So say an atom is the smallest particle of an element that can take part in a chemical reaction, or that can exist and still retain the chemical property of the element in question. All right, then what is a molecule? A molecule is the smallest particle of a substance that can take part in a chemical reaction and still retain the chemical property of what? Of that substance, be it an element or a compound. And a molecule, let's put it down so that it will be clear, is the smallest particle, this time of a substance, that can exist alone and still retain the chemical property of that substance, be it an element or a compound. So a molecule is the smallest particle of a substance that can exist alone and still retain the chemical property of that substance, be it an element or a compound. So the substance could be an element or could be a compound. Likewise, another important thing you need to know in this topic is that the smallest form of existence of an element is the molecule. The smallest form of existence of a substance or of an element is what? Is the molecule. Now, molecules can be formed from atoms of the same element or atoms of different elements. Molecule can be formed from atoms of the same element or atoms of different elements. Now, the number of atoms, take note, the number of atoms found in the molecule of an element is called the atomicity of the element. So they can ask you in a JAMB question, which of the following is the smallest, or what is atomicity? Atomicity is the number of atoms that can be found in the molecule of an element. So, or they can say in the JAMB question, the number of what? Molecules that can be found, the number of atoms that can be found in the molecule of an element is what? The simplest answer to that question is what? Is atomicity. Free question, also free. All right, so now a molecule can contain one atom. Let's go on. A molecule can contain only one atom. In that case, we say the molecule is what? It is what was? It is monoatomic. The molecule may contain what? Only one atom, and in that case, we say it is what? It is monoatomic. Example of monoatomic molecules include one, we have a neon, then we have what? Argon, Ar, neon, Ne, and argon, Ar. These are all monoatomic what? Molecules. So if you see Ne, they are like this, then well, this is Ar. There's nothing like 1 year, or 2 year, or 2 years. They are just, it's one that is there, right? It's just what? Ne and what? And Ar in their what? In their formula. All right, then we also have what? A molecule may contain two atoms. The molecule contains two atoms. We say it is what? It is diatomic. It is diatomic. Example, of course, is what? Is hydrogen. Where if you write it like this, write H2, right? Then oxygen, write what? O2. So these are what? Diatomic what? Molecules, right? Because they contain what? Two atoms. H2O2, they contain 2 atoms. They also have what? A molecule can also contain 3 atoms. In that case, we say it is what? It is triatomic. A very good example of a triatomic molecule is ozone. Ozone, usually what? O3. Ozone has a very, it has a distinctively what? It's a pale blue. Please know that ozone is a pale blue gas with a distinctively what? Pungent smell. It has a pungent smell. So this is what ozone, right? It's a triatomic what molecule. It has what? 3 atoms, right? O3 having what? The chemical, the structure is like this. Structure of ozone is like this, like this, right? Right? And the angle between what? These 2 bonds is what? 116.8 degree. All right. Ozone also has what? Has a boiling point of what? 112 degrees Celsius, and also has a melting point of 192.5 degrees Celsius. So you should what? You should take note of this. Okay, so the molar mass of ozone also, molar mass is what? Is 48 gram per mole. Right, you should take note of all this about ozone, right? So ozone is a triatomic molecule, like I've said. It has what? It's a pale blue gas with pungent smell. And then we saw the structure of ozone, right? Yeah, yes, negative, yes, negative, yes, positive, right? In the structure of ozone. So please take note. All right, so we also have that a molecule can also contain what? Can contain 4 atoms. The molecule can contain 4 atoms, and in that case, we say it is what? It is what? Tetraatomic. Which is called what? Tetraatomic what molecule? Example is what? Is phosphorus. Phosphorus that has the formula of P4. This is not the formula for phosphorus. Phosphorus is P, right? Of course, but it exists as what? As a tetrahedral what molecule like this. Right? Then like this. Connecting like this. This is P, P, P. It is what? It is tetrahedral in shape. It is tetrahedral in shape. So we say that what? That phosphorus is a what? Is a tetraatomic molecule. Of course, there are 2 variations of phosphorus. We have the white phosphorus. Please take note, white phosphorus. And we have the red phosphorus. All right, so it is above the scope of this class of discussing about this. Just note this about what? The phosphorus what molecule. All right, so this is P4. It's tetraatomic. They also have what? Some molecules that contain more than 4 atoms. So in that case, we say they are what? They are polyatomic. Let's look at them. They are polyatomic. Example, a very good example is sulfur. Sulfur S8 molecule is polyatomic. Polyatomic. So it is the shape of what? Sulfur S8 molecule is shaped like a crown, like this. Then this is what? Sulfur S8 molecule. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It is shaped like a crown, right? That is sulfur S8 what molecule. So you take note of that. So polyatomic molecules have more than 4, of course, have more than 4 atoms, right? They also have what? There are some other molecules. There are some compounds that have thousands of atoms in them, thousands of atoms. And of course, example is what? Carbohydrate and proteins. They have thousands of molecules. Of course, carbohydrate, general formula for carbohydrate is what? CxH2OY, right? CxH2OY. Hydrated what? Carbon. That's what carbohydrates are. Hydrated carbon, right? That's why having what? H2O in the what? In the general formula for carbohydrate. Then, of course, general formula for protein is RCH, then NH2, COOH. All right, so please just take note of this. These are just side things to talk about because but they are very important, of course, but they are just side things. So I'm going to go into them deeply when we start discussing them proper. All right, so I'm going to discuss proteins and carbohydrates. Okay, so having known this now, then we'll move over to ions, which is the last part that we're going to discuss in this topic. Ions. And we say that an ion is what? It's a group of atoms. We say ions are atoms or group of atoms that possess electric charge. So we say ions are atoms or group of atoms that possess what? Electric charge. That's the simple definition for ions. And sometimes there's a term called radical, which can also be called what? Which can be defined as a group of atoms that possess what? A charge. A group of atoms. Group of atoms that possess a charge. So radicals are group of atoms that possess what? A charge. So ions are atoms or group of atoms that possess what? Electric what? Charge. So of course, there are two basic types of what? Ions. We have the positively charged ions. The positively charged ions, which we call the cations. And then we have the negatively charged ions. We call them the what? The anions. All right. So of course, there's a third type, which is not very much discussed. We call them the zwitterons. ZWI therons. All right. These zwitterons have both negative and positive center. They have what? Both negative and positive center. They're called the zwitterons. All right, but of course, one thing we need to know about this type of ions is that the general charge, the overall charge on them is usually zero. The overall charge on them is usually zero. But of course, they have both positive and negative centers. All right, so having known all this about ions, another important thing we need to know is that an atom is usually neutral. Atoms are usually neutral because they usually contain the same number of protons and the same number of electrons. So a neutral atom will have the same number of protons and electrons. So the NP is usually equal to Ne in a neutral atom. But when that is the protons and the neutrons, are not equal in number in the nucleus of an atom, then a charge occurs. So what causes the charge? What brings about a charge? You see an atom written like this, Al3+. What brings about this charge? It occurs as a result of the imbalance. As a result of the imbalance between the number of protons and the number of electrons. We know that protons are positively charged, while the electrons are negatively charged. So another important thing also we need to know here is that when we say that an atom has a charge of +3, as I've written here, it means that the number of protons is more than the number of electrons by By 3. By 3. Then if we say, let's say oxygen O2 2- like this, if you have an atom like this, O2- like this, I'm trying to tell you that that number of electrons here are more than number of protons by By not +2 now, by 2 also. So you have to take note of that. So the magnitude of the charge usually indicates the excess. The magnitude of the charge usually indicates the excess. So to find the number of electrons in the nucleus of an atom is equal to what now? Number of protons minus minus charge. So if you know the number of electrons and you're looking for the number of protons, you can just rearrange it. You have been taught change of subject formula. See, chemistry students, you must also learn mathematics. Don't say that it's chemistry, biology, I know do math. So learn mathematics. So mathematics is especially in your post UTME after your JAMB, you are definitely going to need mathematics. So please, there are mathematics videos in this class which has covered all the JAMB syllabus. So please make sure you also watch them after your JAMB, in case you are preparing for what? For post UTME. All right, so number of electrons for number of protons minus charge. So to find the number of protons now, you rearrange, and of course NP, because of what now? Number of electrons plus charge. So it's as simple as that. Okay, so having known all this, we're now going to look at how we usually find the number of electrons, the number of protons, number of neutrons in the nucleus of an atom. So let's quickly do that. So if you have here element and ion, then here we have number of protons. We told that the number of protons is what? Is the atomic number. Atomic number is the number of protons found in the nucleus of an atom. You have to take note of that. Atomic number is the number of protons found in the nucleus of an atom. Then we have number of neutrons. Now, the number of neutrons is is the atomic number subtracted from the mass number. Is mass number minus atomic number. All right, we know that. I have to take note of that. Number of neutrons, mass number minus the atomic number. And then lastly, we have number of electrons. The number of electrons, of course, as we know, is NP minus minus charge, as we have seen earlier while explaining. So these are the things we are going to look at. And of course, for the first one, we're going to be looking at the sodium molecule. Let's look at sodium atom plus 11 has an atomic number of 11, and then the mass number of 23. So this is the sodium atom. Of course, what will be the number of protons here? The number of protons is the atomic number, and the atomic number of sodium here is is 11. That means our atomic number is is 11, and number of protons, which correspond, of course, to the number of protons. But now, what about the number of neutrons? The number of neutrons is the mass number minus the atomic number. That means subtract the atomic number from the mass number. What is the mass number? 23. What is the atomic number? Minus 11. And of course, that means 23 minus 11 will be what? Will be 12. That means the number of neutrons found in the nucleus. Of course, why do we have to find number of neutrons here? Because this atom is it's not balanced. There's an imbalance. There's a charge here, and that means it's either, whenever you see a charge, generally it's either that the number of protons is more than number of electrons, or the number of electrons is more than number of protons. So a positive charge indicates that the protons are more, while the negative charge indicates that the electrons are more. You must take note of that. Know this and know peace. You have heard that song, so please know it once and for all. All right, another thing you need to know, of course, is the number of protons. How do you get the number of protons? Just the atomic number. Of course, then how do you get the number of neutrons? Subtract the atomic number from the mass number. And then how do you get the number of electrons? NP, number of protons, minus the charge on it. So let's see how to get the number of electrons there. So NP, so what's the number of protons? Number of protons is the atomic number, which is 11. Then what is the charge? Minus the charge is here, so it's plus now, right? This means plus 1. The 1 is not supposed to be written there. Whether it's written there or not, you should know that it's 1 that is there. So this is plus 1. So it's standing alone, plus is plus 1. So I'm going to have 11 minus 1, and that will give us 10. So we have been successfully able to calculate the number of protons, neutrons, and electrons in the sodium atom. So now let's look at another one. We have aluminium 3 plus. All right. The atomic number of aluminum is 13. Then what is the mass number? 27, I guess. All right. So this is the aluminum atom. We are going to do the same thing we did for sodium here. All right. So now let's go. What is the number of protons? Is 13, isn't it? That is just the atomic number. The number of neutrons, mass number is is 27, minus atomic number is is 13, and that will give us 14, right? Okay, now what is the number of electrons? NP is number of protons is 13. What is the charge? The charge is 3 plus. That is minus 3, and our answer will now become 10. So we are able to find the number of what protons, neutrons, and electrons in the what aluminum what atom, right? So now let's go to another one. They have oxygen S O2 minus. Atomic number is what? Is 8. What is the mass number? 16. We are aware of that, right? So it's as simple as that. So now what is the number of protons? That is the atomic number is 8. Then of course, what is the number of neutrons? Mass number is 16 minus atomic number is 8, and that will give us what? 8. Then what about the number of electrons? Number of protons here is what is 8 minus charge minus, look at here is very intricate. You have to understand, especially you chemistry student. I don't want to settle down to learn mathematics. It is very important that you learn mathematics. All right, so this is 8 minus 2. This is now 8 minus 2, because here is negative. Here, if we had say, for example, when here was plus 1, this was the same thing as 11 minus plus 1. Minus times plus is what is minus. That's why we had what? 11 minus 1, which is 10. But in this case, in this other case, it is different. It is different because we're having 8 minus, and then we're having minus 2 again, then minus 2, which will give us what now? Minus times minus is what? Is plus. That means we're going to have 8 plus 2, which is what? 10. I hope you understand that part very well. So we also have a 10 there. Oh, now let us go to the last one. Let's say a magnesium what atom. All right. So magnesium is the atomic number is 12, mass number is 24. Right. So now let's go. What is the atomic number? Number of protons is 12. What is the number of neutrons? 24 minus what? 12, which is what? 12 bar. Then what is the number of electrons? Number of protons is what? Is 12 minus the charge. What is the charge? Does magnesium has a charge here? There's no charge on it. Did you say anything like plus 1 or plus 10 or minus 1 million? Nothing is. Whenever you see an atom like this, you know that this atom is neutral. It is what? It is neutral. It does not have what? A charge on it. That means number of protons and number of electrons will be equal to what? The same. The number of protons and neutrons are equal. So now, how do you get the number of electrons there? That would be what? Number of protons 12 minus the charge is what? Is 0. There's no charge there. So 12 minus 0 is 12. So if you notice carefully, yeah, the number of protons here is equal to the number of what? Of electrons. That means that was in a neutral atom. That means that in a neutral atom, the number of protons must be equal to the number of electrons. Why? Because there's no charge on a neutral atom, and there's no imbalance between the number of protons and the number of electrons. And of course, with this, we'll come to an end to this wonderful and interesting class. The next part of the class, we're going to be looking at relative atomic mass, molecular mass, and the rest of it. It's going to be the part 2 of this topic. So please watch out for it and make sure you check it out once it's released. Please do not forget to subscribe to this channel. Just subscribe to this channel, and of course, don't forget to give this video a like. And don't forget, most importantly, to share this video to others. Do not be stingy. And of course, download the O3Schools JAMB app from Play Store right away if you have not started preparing for your exam, and start practicing. And of course, a score of 280 plus is assured if you practice diligently with a lot of zest and pep. You see yourself at the top. My name remains Owolabi Tango, aka MC Owoblo, and of course, I will see you in the next class.